Hi, everybody. Welcome to our San Francisco 49ers postgame recap here on Niners Radio 49. Brian Professor B. Davis here in our satellite digital media studios in San Francisco. And the 49ers with a great opening day rout in the Steel City, the team of the 70s against the team of the 80s, two of pro football's finest franchises. The Niners with a rout over the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-7 Sunday afternoon. You just finished watching that game on Fox in the Bay Area. The game, just a total domination of your San Francisco 49ers. We got some good stuff from the game. Niner faithful, wherever you at watching the game, we got a lot of Niner fans. A lot of Niner fans are watching on Facebook Live, watching on our YouTube page, youtube.com/ at Niners Radio 49. You should come on by and check us out right now at our check us out on our YouTube at youtube.com/ at Niners Radio 49. We're also going to have this streaming on facebook.com/ at Niners Radio 49. We're going to get all of you come on. We're also on our main page, Satellite Digital Media is our affiliate. So we're going to give you a recap of the game. We'll give you some, as we're doing this taping, Niners with a total domination over the Pittsburgh Steelers. What a great way to kick off the season over at Acisure Stadium as Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Niners coming away with a 30-7 victory over the Steelers. By the way, they handed Coach Mike Tomlin now in his, I believe this is now his 17th season as head coach, as Steelers head coach, his worst home loss ever as Steelers head coach. We're going to get you a recap of the game and just to talk about this game. For those of you who are watching on Satellite Digital Media, we'll have our glad for the live you guys are watching on Satellite Digital Media. We're trying to get many of you come on by and talk about this game, this win for your Niners. High expectations for this team this year. Coming away with a W. And it's watching also a lot of the Niner faithful out there. Also, or shout out to all of you watching on City Ball Facebook, Niner faithful forum. We're going to just trying to just go all out, you know. We're just getting everybody out there to watch this podcast. So let's get back to it on Niners Radio 49. Our website again is for the YouTube, youtube.com/ at Niners Radio 49. You go on there, see all the Niners content for all the stuff from last year, listen to all the interviews we had from last year. You could even also, by the way, click the subscribe button. That's very important. We want you to click the subscribe button to see all the content on there. To see all the content. We're trying to have this thing to really grow this thing out. A lot of Niner fans watching right now here on Niners Radio. We're just what a great way to start the new football season. Niners and the Steelers in Western Pennsylvania. A lot of the chapters were out there. We going to go on for not too long because it's going to be an abbreviated show because I'm going to be going out to the Giants game later. The Giants so it's going to be like a abbreviated show on Niners Radio 49. So we're going to just talk about the game. recap. Let's hit the reset button without further ado. First quarter, the Niners were driving. Brock Purdy passed to Brandon Ayuk, who had his first of 2 touchdowns in the contest, an 8-yard striker. That put San Francisco up 7-0. Then the Niners made it 10-0 when Jake Moody had booted a 41-yard field goal that made it 10-0 in favor of San Francisco. And then in the second quarter, the Niners would increase their lead to 17-0 when Purdy connected with Brandon Ayuk for a 19-yard touchdown. And then Jake Moody hit a field goal. There were extra point, I should say. Now the Niners make it 17-0. Then Jake Moody hit another field goal, 32-yarder, and the Niners had a 20-0 lead going into the intermission. Then the third quarter, Christian McCaffrey went on a 65-yard touchdown run that increased San Francisco's lead to 27-7. Correction, at the half, Kenny Pickett threw a touchdown pass to Pat Freiermuth at the 3-yard touchdown catch. It was 27 at the half. Then with McCaffrey with his 65-yard touchdown run. And then in the fourth quarter, Moody hits a 40-yard field goal. And that turned out to be a final 30-7 San Francisco over Pittsburgh in the Steel City. Now let's get to the final for the final stats. The Niners dominated. They had 22 first downs to the Steelers' 15. They end up having on third down efficiency, Niners were 6 out of 13 on third downs. Steelers were 5 out of 15. Fourth down, Niners were a perfect 1 for 1. They converted 1 out of 1. The Steelers were just 1 for 3 on fourth downs. Total net yards, the Niners almost had a total of 400 total net yards of offense. 391 total net yards. They helped the Niners defense helped the Steelers to just barely under just 200 yards. Steelers only had 198 total yards of offense. The Niners rushed the ball. They had 188 total rushes in the rush, and they end up they end up having 188 yards rushing in the contest. And it also, the Steelers were held to just 41 yards rushing in the contest. And then the rush attempts, this was the stat of the day. The Niners on rush attempts, they've rushed the ball 34 times, and the Steelers only rushed it 10. And you put it in contrast, the Niners 34 total rushes for the 108 out of the 34 attempt. San Francisco for the afternoon averaged 5.5 yards a carry, while the Steelers end up in the contest all afternoon only 10 rushes, and they only had 41 yards. Steelers only averaged in the game, the Steelers only averaged on 10 carries only 4.1 yards. And then the Niners won that turnover ratio, forced two Steeler turnovers. The Niners defense had 5 sacks, and then Brock Purdy was sacked only once. And then the penalties. Niners were penalized 11 times for 85 yards. Steelers were penalized 6 times for 60. The Niners dominated the time of possession, 37 minutes and 23 seconds to the Steelers, 22 minutes and 37 seconds. So let's take a look of the final totals of the game, the final stat totals of the game. We got. We're gonna just get to the final stat number from the game stats of the contest. As Brock Purdy was 29 out of 19, 220 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey had a phenomenal day, 152 yards rushing on 22 carries, averaging 6.9 yards per carry. And then Brandon Ayuk, he had 8 catches for 129 as he ended up averaging 16.1 yards per catch. Brandon Ayuk is going to have an offensive year. I predict he could have over 1,300 yards in receptions, maybe 1,500. We'll see. Kenny Pickett was 31 out of 46, 232 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Najee Harris, 6 carries for 31 yards. Robinson, 5 catches for 61 yards. I look at the individual stats here. And then for receiving, McCaffrey was targeted 5 times. He caught 3 balls for 17 yards. So with the was 152 total rushing yards plus the additional 17. He had 169 all-purpose yards. He ended up touching the ball 27 times. So McCaffrey averaged 6.2 yards per touch in the contest. And then you look at the rest of the receivers. Deebo Samuel targeted 7 times, 5 catches for 55 yards, average 11 yards a catch. George Kittle, who was able to go with that, he had 3 catches for 19 yards. And then Juan James was targeted once. He had no catches. Elijah Mitchell, none at all. Was targeted only once. Jake Moody, the rookie they picked from the University of Michigan, a perfect 3 for 3. He had a 41-yard field goal. He hit 3 field goals. He was 2 for 2 in the 40-49 range, and he converted all his extra points. Mitch Wisnowski, he averaged 44.7 yards. His longest was 56. And then on defense, the Niners defense got nasty out there in the Steel City. On defense, looking at and then Ray McLeod was able to return 3 punt returns, averaging 13 point yards per return. And then Ken Hyder Jr. got a sack, and Jen Hargrove and Hyder played very well. And then the 49ers defense had and Tuahaya Tufunga had 5 solo tackles. He had one had an interception as well. So some of the big plays in Sunday's afternoon, the Niners were on their way with their big victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Niners go to 1-0. Steelers fall to 0-1. And what's on deck for the 49ers coming up on deck? Next Sunday, the Niners will be back in action. They will travel to take on the Los Angeles Rams down at SoFi Stadium, where the Rams who only 2 years ago, the same Rams who knocked out San Francisco in the NFC Championship game at SoFi Stadium. Now Niners will travel to Levi Stadium South to take on the Rams. It will be next Sunday, 1 week from today at 1:05 is the kickoff time. You can catch that game on Fox and Then after that, the Niners home opener will be coming up in exactly 11 days from this coming Thursday when they take on the New York Giants at the Mecca at Levi Stadium. You can get your tickets at 49ers.com/tickets or theticketmaster.com or Vivid Seats, the official ticket providers of the San Francisco 49ers. And we also, a reminder coming up, the Niners will be also after that. The Niners will be have their first home game after they play the Rams as down there, and the Rams, a team who are just struggling. This is a whole new team. They've won their Super Bowl, and they've been hit by a lot of salary cap issues. The question with Sam Darnold, will he be ready to go? Will be. It's a total different team for the Rams, and but the Niners will be ready to go next Sunday. I think the Niners will continue to dominate. But a reminder, tomorrow on Monday we'll have our Niners radio recap later in the day, Monday sometime in the afternoon or so. We'll recap this game, and then we'll try to get somebody on if we have time to recap the game with us. And then later in the week we get ready for the Niners to take on their longtime rival, the Los Angeles Rams, down at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. So, just for all the latest news on 49ers news and so much more, go to 49ers.com. Once again, the final score on Sunday, Niners taking it in Week 1. Niners defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Niners 30. The Pittsburgh Steelers 7. Niners, by the way, their first ever victory at Acisure/Heinz Field. In fact, their first win in the Steel City since 1996. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis, and thank you for watching 49ers postgame recap on satellite, digital, or on Niners Radio. Niners Radio is an association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network. 49ers football, faithful then, faithful now. Go Niners!
We're just going to try to air this out.